Jock.
And I'm Jackie. And welcome to the Mental Health Moment with the Austins.
Yes, thank you. I want to say thank you to Pastor Rogers. Thank you to the New Bethlehem family for allowing us this opportunity to come and speak with you about something that's very important to us.
We hope we share some information with you today that will help you spiritually and also increase your awareness about mental health. So, Jock, let's jump right into it.
Let's go.
We hear people mention that they're feeling depressed or they say they are depressed. What is depression specifically?
Yeah, you hear sometimes people giving that label of depression sometimes to other emotions such as sadness or maybe feeling down. Depression specifically it's a deep feeling of sadness, but there's also a loss of interest to do some of the things that they used to do. Some of the things that a person may have interest in doing. That sad mood, though, is pervasive over a particular period of time. It could start off as sadness and a person feel themselves just kind of shutting down or becoming less capable of coping with some of the things that are occurring. And a person may begin to feel numb and almost empty.
You know, being around people and hearing people say they're sad or they're depressed, it seems like they tend to use the words interchangeably. What is the difference between sadness and depression?
Well, sadness is a normal human emotion that we feel. You know, something may happen that we see on the news, or we may see something that just kind of pulls at us, but we don't stay in that place of sadness for long. Depression is not only that emotional state of a deep sadness, but there are some physical things that are going on as well, where a person may feel fatigued. There's this pervasive thought pattern, though, that exists behind depression. But depression, as I said, sadness may be in the moment. Something happens and you feel sad about it, and then you don't necessarily think about it much anymore. But with depression, it's persistent over a period of time for 2 weeks or more, and the person can't really explain why they're in that mood, why they're feeling this way. And again, that loss of interest in doing things that they used to do. So there is a difference between sadness and depression.
You know, I do kind of, as you were giving that definition, my mind goes back to when I actually ever recognized depression. You know, growing up, you'd see people sad. I don't think I recognized it as someone being depressed. You know, it seemed like I became aware of depression somewhere in high school with an acquaintance that was doing things, and I would say familiar with it only because she was saying that's what she was. You know, of course I experienced sadness, but I didn't experience or own or claim that I was depressed, you know. So just made me kind of think back on that as you were giving that definition.
You know, as you say that, I recall my grandmother, you know, she was specific on what you would claim, you know, because she said there are power in your words, you know. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. I don't know what specific verse, but I'm sure Pastor Rogers will let me know. But she would be, you know, keen on not claiming something that it isn't. So if we were like, oh, I'm depressed. No, you're not. Quit saying that, you know. And there was this this idea that, you know, you didn't speak something on yourself that it wasn't, you know. And that's just how we operated in our household.
And then too, sadness, depression, you just gave us a great definition or the difference between the two, but people do tend to say depressed and may not actually doesn't fit the definition that you just gave us. It may really be that person dealing with sadness more than anything. So what causes depression?
A number of things, you know, that may lead that person into that particular thought pattern that allows them to stay in that depressed mood. As you know, I practice cognitive behavioral therapy, and the founder, Aaron Beck, said that depression is characterized by a specific thought pattern that keeps that person in that depressed mood. So of course, there are different types of depression, and it depends on the situation and what a person may be going through. Some of those listed are disruptive mood dysregulation, or major depressive disorder, persistent depressive disorder, premenstrual dysphoric depressive disorder. Then there are some that are substance or medication induced. But it's based on, I guess, the situation or what may be going on, how long it's been going on, and those symptoms that a professional needs to identify to define specifically what type of depressive disorder it is and be able to treat it effectively.
Okay. So how do you know if you have one of these disorders?
Again, let a professional decide that which disorder it may be specifically. But if you've been dealing or you've been in a place where at least 2 weeks or more, and it's been more days than not, this persistent, overwhelming sadness, fatigue, lack of interest in doing some of those things that you used to enjoy doing. You just don't find pleasure in some of those things that you used to enjoy. Your eating has changed. You're maybe eating too much or maybe eating a lot less, and there's a weight gain that's not, or a weight gain or a weight loss that may not be associated with an attempt to gain weight or attempt to lose weight. But being mindful and aware of what's normal for you. What is some of your normal in particular or usual behavior patterns? And if you see yourself falling out of that, then it's time to talk with someone.
Would you say that all of those behavior disorders and as you just explained would lead someone to knowing that they're depressed? How would they know?
Again, them knowing themselves. And that's great that you say that, because sometimes a person may not recognize that they're depressed.
Right.
They just feel that, I'm just tired all the time. I don't have
Sleeping
much of
a
an appetite.
lot.
I'm sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's different from what I used to do. And then some people are saying, you don't go out anymore. You don't do this. You don't enjoy that. Being mindful of some of those things that you normally do, your normal behavior pattern.
Okay.
And again, seeking help, talking with someone. Or you may notice this about a friend or a family member. Being able to talk with them.
And if you do, how do you help that person?
Well, one, again, knowing those signs. Two, speaking to them, addressing, that I notice there's something different about you. Are you okay? Would you like to talk? Being willing to listen. Not necessarily to go in, well, you need to go do this and you need to go do that and trying to fix it, but being able to talk with them, but then also listen to what it is. And sometimes it may be a little bit much for them that, well, I don't want to hear all that. It's like, it's getting heavy on me.
Yeah, what do we do when you're listening to somebody and you're feeling that way? You do this as a profession, but you may have someone that's wanting to just let it all out and open up and just really get off their chest what they're feeling.
And I say you're going through a lot, and it sounds like what you're telling me is very heavy for you. And I love to listen to you, and I'm here for you. But have you thought about talking with a professional? It's okay to seek counseling. It's okay to talk to someone about what's going on with you, because when it's heavy in here and you're holding it all in, it's like trying to fill that balloon full of water, and eventually what happens. But finding someone to talk to. And I know sometimes it's, a person may feel that I don't want to go see a psychiatrist, they're going to put me on medication, but sometimes that medication may be needed to first regulate the mood so that I can get the information that someone is sharing with me.
Good points. So we talked about how you can help someone else, but how do you help yourself?
Again, that awareness, I think knowing yourself, knowing your emotional tendencies, knowing your emotional states, I recall speaking with a young lady a couple of weeks ago. Remember, she shared with us that she had been diagnosed with cancer, and we were like, well, why didn't you tell us? But she had shared some great news because she had been diagnosed, but then what?
Got her healing. There's no sign of it.
There's no sign of it. And we, for a moment, just thank God and praise the Lord. And well, why didn't you? And we asked, why didn't you share this with us? And so she was, I know me. I know I don't need to get into this depressed state and fall into this this space where I can't function. I can't do anything. So I know I needed to, one, talk with the Lord, find out what it is that He has for me, and then what is it that I need to do? I need to keep going. And we laughed in that moment because we both said it at the same time, was, I ain't got time to be depressed.
Right.
I got stuff I got to do. I ain't got
Right.
time. And so it's a mind state. It's a mind state. We talked, remember when, I had my flag football days or whatever, my little, on the weekend. And so there would be some times, of course, I'm very competitive, and there would be some games and some times that I lost. And I'm focused on, I should have caught that pass, or I missed that throw or something like that. And I'd be kind of upset. And I kind of acted out, I guess, as we got in the car and the girls were in the back seat. You remember what you said to me at that time?
Probably telling you that they're watching you.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
they're watching you. They're learning how to deal with disappointment
Right.
through my behaviors as a parent. And so they're learning, like, oh, it's okay to act out because I see my parent acting out. And I think a lot of times, well, I know our kids will model our behavior in our situations. Sometimes we don't even know it. And so a lot of the coping skills that are necessary may not be taught or may not be demonstrated by those people that the kids may look up to.
Right.
And so I think by being mindful of how we're handling certain situations, are we coping through things effectively? Because there are people that are watching us.
Right.
And so you want to teach them how to cope with disappointment, how to discern between sadness or depression. But I think the more we are aware of ourselves, the more we are aware of the emotional state that we're in at the moment that we're in it. And then we could maybe adjust that thought pattern or find or seek some of the helpful resources that we need.
That's awesome. Good information. Well, Jock, we have our viewers that are listening and watching us, and there could very well be someone out there dealing with depression. So what advice would you give them in terms of seeking help?
If you are aware that you may be dealing with depression or have a family member that may be dealing with depression, reach out to them or reach out to a helpful resource. There are a number of free counseling agencies that are there. Brother Let's Talk is one. Their number is 259-6304, area code 205-259-6304, or visit brotherletstalk.org. They offer 6 free sessions to not only men of color, but their family members as well. But also, a person may not know that with the agency or company they work for, there may be a employment assistance program that allows sometimes 2 to 6 or maybe 10 free sessions. But there is help there. But I encourage, maintain a proper diet, Try not to drink too much alcohol. Get out, exercise. I think it's really important that we socialize, be around people. I think sometimes we may choose to be alone, and that's fine. But I don't think anyone chooses to feel lonely.
Right.
So connect with people and put yourself in spaces where you may volunteer or provide service for others. That's something that kind of lifts people's spirits. But I think of a quote, I can't think of the author, but it said, "I am no longer afraid of my storms, for I've learned to master my ship." And that is, I know and understand me, and I know that there are going to be difficulties that come along, and some may be pretty hard. There may be this huge storm in your life that's turning and swirling, the lightning is flashing around, but I've never known a storm that didn't pass over. And so remain faithful, pray, connect with friends, connect with family, and be in tune with yourself and what you're feeling.
And I would add on laughter. Laughter is good for the soul. So no matter, what state of mind you may be in, if you find something to laugh about, it can definitely lift your spirits. Okay. All right, Jock. Well, this has been an awesome opportunity to talk with you all, and we pray again that you've been blessed by this segment, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.